everyone, my name is Mariana and this is another video following how I'm studying anatomy drawing. This time I'll explain how I made these two artworks using a new tool. I've wanted to learn Blender's 2D animation tools for a long time, and I've already followed some tutorials of amazing grease pencil artists. But to learn a software, you have to do some things on your own. Use it. And I've noticed that it's helpful for me to merge two different things that I want to do so that I actually do them. And this case was using Blender's grease pencil and finishing the arms and hands anatomy studies. Okay, so I had no idea what I was getting into. I decided to start with a hand sketch to experiment and try things. Drawing in 3D space is complicated. By nature, drawings are a flat surface, so you need many techniques to tell the software where you want to place your strokes. So I struggled quite a bit. Eventually, I realized I needed a 3D surface to draw over it. Blender has an option that allows this. So I built a basic shape of the pose I aimed for, then drew over it. And it looked good enough, but I wanted to just make a sketch, not complicate myself too much. So then I figured I could draw the hand from the different views, front and sides, and then move the strokes across each plane axis to distribute them in 3D space. So now I'm just drawing in 2D for each view and modifying them to make them 3D. It worked initially. However, there was a new problem. Without something filling up the drawing, all the lines were visible from every angle. So it was very confusing and it looked like a mess. It didn't work, but it wasn't a waste either, because I still could make a 2.5D drawing with just a simple camera movement. I continued arranging the strokes in 3D space and deleting others to clean up the sketch. This is the result. I'm happy with it. It was quite a struggle and it's not what I intended, but my objective was to practice and learn. For the next piece, I watched another tutorial by Sophie Jantak to see how she could draw in 3D. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to watch it. And basically, she makes a rough sculpture and then draws over it. This makes drawing in 3D possible and gives it a kind of feel that allows you to rotate around it and not see through everything. So before starting with the sculpture, I made two drawings of the front and side to use as a guide. Instead of just a hand, I decided to include both arms this time. And then I started the base model. I should mention that I know the basics of 3D software, so I already knew how to use Blender's essential tools, and it wasn't scary to try it. However, I specialize in 2D, so I did struggle quite a bit with the base model stage and then sculpting. I had to reduce several things, and I am sure there are tons of ways to work smarter, but anyway, I somehow managed. When sculpting, I thought I would only make a rough sculpture and later use the drawing strokes to detail the anatomy. But I got carried away and made the shapes of the muscles, and it was great to put my knowledge into practice. I definitely would recommend using sculpting as part of your learning process. It could be with clay, it doesn't have to be CG. Sculpting makes you visualize in 3 dimensions and all around the subject, making it an excellent complement to your education. For me, it was exciting to see that I know where to put what muscle, how to shape it, and where to connect them. I see the results of all that studying, which feels great. The hands took me the same time as the rest of the body. The base model was very plain, so I had to do more work in the sculpting stage. As a note to myself, next time I'll make sure the model is more accurate before getting into sculpting. I wasn't that happy with the second hand, but I was spending way too much time and I hadn't started the drawing, which is supposed to be the important part, so I stopped here and moved on. Time to draw in 3D. Okay. So now I just drew over the sculpture using grease pencil surface mode. Again, I will leave links to useful tutorials if you want to try this. The sketch is also affected by the viewpoint. Depending on the view, different surfaces overlapped and confused the software. So I had to be careful and later check all around the drawing to see if any weird thing happened. Although I took my time to make a detailed sculpture, I didn't know exactly where to draw every muscle. So I made lots of scribbles until the anatomy was as accurate as possible. But anyway, the purpose of these two artworks was successful. I put my knowledge into practice, challenging myself to make something different. And I also practiced Blender and grease pencil. I eventually want to use Blender's 2D animation tools to make films. So I'll be driving myself and this channel towards that goal. But first I have to finish studying anatomy. And I also make videos on drawing tips and advice. So if you like my content, please subscribe, share this video with a friend, and if you have questions or anything relating to drawing and 2D animation, leave a comment. I read all of them. See you in the next video. Bye!